This is Paul McGann, and you're listening to the Five-ish Fangirls Podcast.
The tangents and squeak continue all the way to episode number 56 of the Five-ish Fangirls Podcast. The list has grown, and therefore I have my hat, but it is full of more slips of paper. We're gonna dive into that hat and see what happens. We're all afraid. Welcome everyone to this week's episode of the Five-ish Fangirls Podcast. So glad you could join us. Let's start off like we do every week by going around the virtual table and see who's joined us this week.
This is Brittany in Belvedere.
This is Chrissy in Salt Lake City.
This is Holly from Wisconsin.
This is Mitch in Kitchener, Ontario.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. Hello! We're all here! Yay!
Yay! It's been a while, but Holly has returned from the sodding vortex.
Yes. Knock on wood.
And Mitch is back from camping.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that too.
Yep.
Which might as well be the sodding vortex in my opinion, but that's just me. My opinions of camping.
Contingent again.
Indeed.
Yay!
And we don't have to worry about any Tri-Wizard tournaments or any of us sprouting beards with the hat.
Yes, indeed.
Maybe.
Sorry,
I
couldn't
don't
resist. I missed the last one.
Yeah. Well, it was Harry Potter's birthday yesterday, so anything's
Yes, it
still
was.
bound to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
That is true. And it was J.K. Rowling's 50th birthday, so happy birthday, Joe Rowling, even though you probably have
Yes.
no chance of hearing this.
Nope.
I'm putting it out there anyway.
Yes, very happy birthday.
And the funniest thing is people were saying, it's Harry Potter's 30th birthday! Because in canon, he was born in 1980.
Yes.
And people were going, what? How does that work? And I'm like,
You haven't read the books, have you?
Yeah.
if I need to explain it to you, you just need to go read the books.
Yeah.
I have to admit,
Fun.
when I was first reading books, I thought they were actually like later than they were in the
Yeah.
canon. I was like, wait.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I did too. But nope, it took place in the 90s, although you really wouldn't notice, because
Mhm.
everything's wizardy. It
Yeah.
doesn't really date itself.
I
Yeah,
know.
Other
which
than
is
there's
nice.
nearly Headless Nick's death day party does, because it's his 400th death day, and the cake says he was killed in 1492, and anyway.
But they left that part out of the movies.
Or no,
So.
500. Yeah, or actually 500th death day.
Yes.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Math
It's a
was
hodgepodge.
not
All that stuff
good.
happens, and I was just a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they were all just
I know.
kids too, but I was.
It was disconcerting for me to find out that Harry Potter was actually older than me.
Right?
I was like, wait, what? Anyway, tangents.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a short, it was a small news week, so
Yeah.
we're grasping here. Anyway, well, speaking of news,
So a tangent really isn't a tangent this week. It's just us bantering.
yeah, pretty much.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yep. But that being said, let's move on to what news we have. Starting with my wallet crying, but I don't care. Because Doctor Who is returning to the movie theaters. So,
Yay!
BBC Worldwide North America and Fathom Events are teaming up yet again. And they're going to... Okay, I'll finish this, then I'll make my comment here. So they're going to be showing the season 8 finale two-parter, Dark Water and Death in Heaven, in 3D in theaters. But it's going to be over the course of 2 nights. So September 15th and 16th at 7:30 p.m. your local time. And it'll also include interview with Peter Capaldi and Jenna Coleman, hosted by Will Wheaton, and a prequel scene for season 9 called The Doctor's Mediation. So, and I'm sure
That's
they'll
meditation.
Meditation.
Meditation. Okay, I read that wrong. Sorry. Either way,
Okay.
meditation, mediation. You know, with the Doctor, it could go either way. Really.
Yes, it's true. So basically, they're going to kill us all over again and make us relive, spoilers, Danny Pink's death in glorious 3D.
Pretty much. Yeah.
And that's good.
The only thing is, I don't understand why they're doing it over 2 nights. Why they don't just do it as a double billing and do it on the same night.
Exactly. There's
So
more
that I wouldn't have-
commercials
Here in
come together.
Canada, it is a double billing.
No. So,
I
not that I
have no
mind
opposed
going. You know, not that I mind going to my local movie theater 2 nights in a row, but you know, for some people that could be a bit of a
Cineplex
hindrance.
is doing it in Canada, so I'm just going to check on their website. But I think when I was looking at it earlier that they're doing the double billing. No. Work with me, iPad. No, that's not what I want.
The iPads are not working very well this evening. Just FYI.
Yeah.
Because mine's
Yeah.
having issues earlier with a different thing, but still being a pain in the focus.
Yeah.
Technology. No.
They must have
love
known something.
technology,
Terrible what's
except
playing
when it's
now.
dangerous.
Yeah.
No, I'm just gonna go on my laptop.
Yeah. There you go. Well,
Yeah,
irregardless. Irregardless, for my happy butt here in the United States, I have already put it on my calendar and I will be there. I'm very excited.
Right.
I can't.
My local theater hasn't shown any of the Doctor Who ones, so I don't know if they do it this time.
Well, considering how long it took you to get the Star Wars trailer in your movie theater, I'd just say your movie theaters are just crap.
Yeah, it looks like it's a double billing.
No offense to all the movie theaters in New Jersey, but your way of doing things, there's a little to be desired.
There's 2 days available, the 16th and the September 16th and September 20th, and it's a 2-hour, 10-minute thing.
So it's like going to a movie.
It's basically going to a movie, only it's
Doctor
2
Who.
episodes of Doctor Who.
Cool. I'm excited. I still gotta go buy my tickets, but I'm excited.
I
You'll
I
probably
said
get your
before the show that this is getting ridiculous, the Doctor Who in theaters, so I'm probably not gonna put my money towards this. But
Yeah.
now that you're talking about that, you're doing that. Fathom Events is doing it over 2 nights, but here they're doing it as essentially a movie.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to see it just to see how they'll stitch them together or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I was saying also earlier that I can see why they're doing it, just because there's been rumors of people wanting the Doctor Who movie to happen, and Stephen Moffat saying, well, you can either do the TV show with the regular cast, you can do the movie with the regular cast. You can't do a movie with a new cast because that would. And the TV show, because that would screw up continuity and cause all kinds of problems, and like licensing and some other stuff. I'm sure there's some technical legal ramifications as well. And so I think as long as this remains a profitable side thing, like it's not something you have to do. Like I totally can see them releasing this little prequel scene for Series 9, like online or something. Just the people who go to the movie event will see it first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it'll be like a little mini convention sort of thing before the premiere of Series 9.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of, yeah, I mean, I didn't go see Deep Breath in theaters. I thought about it, but I was like, because I'd already bought the iTunes season pass for Series 8.
I did see Deep Breath in theaters, and I got the posters out of it, the promotional posters.
They do like little extra things too and make a big deal out of it. So it's just up to you whether you want to go see it or not.
Yeah.
People like Rachel are excited about it. People like Mitch are a little bit and it's all good. It's just an extra thing.
With my bedroom door. I think my puppy wants to come in.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Intruder alert! Intruder alert!
Well, the closest theater to me isn't playing it, but there is one in Pennsylvania that's only about like 45 minutes away, so...
Road trip! If I was closer, I would totally go with you.
That's why I like living right on the border. I can... If nothing's playing in New Jersey, I can always check Pennsylvania.
Nice. You have 2 states to choose from.
Yep.
Like this. Okay, I got Puppy.
Puppy!
Hi,
Hi,
Puppy,
Puppy.
puppy!
We have a guest.
His name is Lucky.
Yeah. Lucky!
Okay?
I had a doggy named
Good
Lucky
puppy.
one time.
I had a cat named Lucky.
He just turned
Long
2,
time
like
ago.
a week or so, a couple weeks ago.
Aww.
Yeah, you just turned 2.
Well, now that we have an extra body,
It's the 5-ish fan dog.
yep.
Well,
Well,
are you done now?
Yeah, like I'm over it.
He's standing on the edge of my bed, and I
Yeah.
want to go. You done? You're gone? You're gone. Bye.
We done.
Farewell.
So
It's
long,
like
Lucky.
racing along. Sorry, I'm looking at that.
Yes. All right. Well, let's move along here with the next piece of news.
Move along. I hope that's funny because I'm not prepared.
It is you.
Oh, come on!
Do you want us to come back to you?
Possibly it's loading, but hang on,
Okay.
hang on. I got it almost loading.
I can do mine real quick.
Okay.
Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Okay, you got
Saved
it.
it
You
the
got
last
Okay,
one.
go for it.
There's gonna be new Marvel Netflix episodes coming every 6 months. Netflix head honcho Ted Sarandos confirmed that Jessica Jones will arrive by the end of this year, as well as telling the Television Critics Association audience that new season or series will ideally debut every 6 months. It's further said that prior to the Defenders crossover event, some of the series will have multiple seasons. To date, the Marvel Netflix series consists of Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and the Defenders. So
if you don't have
That
Netflix,
sounds awesome.
you may want to get it.
It's cheap enough, you can do it.
Yep.
Yes.
And I was telling the girls here before we started talking about all this, and I know I'm kind of late to the party here, but that's just because I'm slow, and I've been watching it with my boyfriend. But we've been watching Daredevil, but we kind of have been going slow because it's been kind of really gritty and gory and Grim. That's a lot of G words.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so like we'll watch like one episode, and then we'll be like, oh, okay, we need to watch something lighthearted. Let's watch Red Dwarf, which I know is like a big swing in the other direction. Anyway, so this week we were like, well, we hadn't watched Daredevil in a while. It's like, well, let's watch an episode of that. So we did, and we were on episode 5, and we're like, oh wow, this is being interesting. Watch the next one, and it was like, and I'm sure like there's tons of people out there who've like binge watched it at least a dozen times. They're like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, shut up. Because it took me a while, because with Marvel I have this image of Marvel kind of being, okay, you've got the drama, you've got the comedy, you've got, you know, all this balance of, you know, action and this really good mix and blend of everything in the story, and it just works out really well. And with Daredevil, at least from my standpoint, I was just like, hey, when does this become Marvel and not like, you know, a Marvel trying to be DC? And then I hit it, and I'm like, okay, now this is the Marvel I know and love, and this is where the fun is. It's still grim and gritty because it's on, you know, on Netflix. It's still that, but it's got that Marvel, you know, wink and a nod to it. So I'm like, okay, now I'm enjoying it more. And we binged through like till episode 8, and then we realized how late it was, and like, we got to work. We both got work in the morning, so we had to quit there. And I was a little bit sad, but
I'm on episode 3, so.
Once you get to episode 5, it's really
kind of smooth sailing.
Well, I wouldn't say smooth sailing, but it's a little more. I don't even want to say lighthearted, but there's a little bit more comedic.
Kind of what we're used to.
Yeah. I will say, keep an eye on Foggy. There's more to him than it seems. It took me a while to really like him, because I'm like, what the heck are you even doing?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, then he has some moments, and I'm just like, okay, I get it now.
Good to know.
Anyway, that was my take on.
Yeah. Daredevil. Alrighty.
Daredevil is good.
Yep. Alrighty then. Moving on
to Back to the Future Trilogy to be re-released in theaters, which is really exciting.
Dun, 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 dun. Sorry.
Especially since some of us were just babies when the last one came out.
Yeah.
Well, 2 of you weren't even born yet.
Well, the third one came out 9 days before I was born, so.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Tomato, splitting hairs.
Well, you know, it wouldn't be me. I wasn't being pedantic.
Anyway, the 30th anniversary, with the 30th anniversary of the film's release, all 3 Back to the Future movies are getting re-released on DVD and Blu-ray. But as I mentioned before, it's all coming back to theaters. We don't have any details about just how many theaters around will be showing the movies. Universal is urging people to check their local listings, but we definitely keep you posted as we learn more. Do we know when the theater release?
No, it didn't say, but it just said that it was going to happen. This news, this post, it was from a couple weeks ago. We forgot to mention it, but they just said it was going to happen. So, yeah, I haven't heard anything beyond this, but I figured they would do something like this for the 30th anniversary, because, come on, it's Back to the Future. They gotta do it.
Mm-hmm. I would imagine, well, actually, that'd be coming up soon, because the home release, which is October 21st, of course, because that date is when they come.
Yep.
But,
yes, they got the date right. Good job, Universal.
I would think they would do that before, which, seeing how it's August, that should be coming up. I don't know, it should.
Yeah, pretty quick, you think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
And
when we hear what's going on, we'll let you know.
Indeed. And
But the DVDs.
yes, the DVDs have some pretty cool extras, which is making me, who already has the 25th anniversary, thinking of spending more money for these. So the extras include...
And for me, who... I was going to say, for me, where my 25th anniversary DVD box set got stolen or lost or something, I need the new one.
The extras all include all new original shorts, including dark brown words starring Christopher Lloyd, Out of Time, which is starring the DeLorean, right? An inside look at the 2012 restoration of the most iconic car in film history. Looking Back to the Future, a 9-part retrospective documentary from 2009 on the trilogy's legacy. Here it says Back to the Future, the animated series, but it has 2 episodes, but
There's a deluxe edition that comes out that'll have all 3 movies and all of the animated series.
Yeah.
Plus all these features and more.
Right.
So if you really want to spend a pretty penny, you can get the one with the box that looks like the flux capacitor. Which that one is strongly tempting me.
But if
although
you just
that'll
want to...
be right after Comic-Con, so I'll probably be broke.
Well, you can ask for Christmas if you can make 2 months.
This is true. That is true. Like
But if you
Santa.
There you go.
If you want to stick with just this 30th anniversary box that has 2 episodes of the animated series Brothers and Mac the Black from the 1991 series featuring live action segments with Christopher Lloyd as Doc Brown. And then Tales from the Future, a 6-part documentary.
Which in one of these, either the 6-part documentary, either a 9-part retrospective documentary, considering what we talked about Back to the Future a few weeks ago, is I'd love to see if they caught up with Steven Spielberg, showed him the clip from when they first made the movie, and when he said he wanted to go to the future and see if the movie was successful. I'd love to see a follow up on that.
I would too. Because if they're releasing special box set DVDs 30 years later, I'd say the movie was pretty darn successful.
I would say so.
I think so.
So yay, Back to the Future. Yay, more taking away of my money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's all for a good cause, because I need another Back to the Future DVD.
Yeah.
Because mine is gone. Anyway.
Mine's
Next up on the news list, this is, maybe a little less after Salt Lake Comic-Con announced Chris Evans as a guest, which they were pre-selling photo ops and autographs yesterday, and in 2 minutes, I kid you not, 2 minutes, the Chris Evans photo ops were sold out, and I was like, this is like galley level insanity. I didn't try to get in one because it was like $150. I think that was the photo op, and I can't remember how much the autographs were.
150.
But then they're going to do a lottery. Yeah, then they're going to do a lottery because that was just the pre-sale. Then they're going to do a lottery to see if more people can get in. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm taking. I'd love to meet Chris Evans. Don't get me wrong. I want to try to get into his panel. I probably won't get in there. I'm being realistic and a little pessimistic as well. But I'm taking the attitude that while everyone else is off trying to see Chris Evans, I'm going to try to see Alex Kingston and these next 2 guests, which are like, hello, yes, James and Oliver Phelps, a.k.a. Fred and George Weasley from the Harry Potter movies, are coming to Salt Lake Comic-Con, and I was just like, oh my gosh, yes! Because I love the Weasley twins, and they're just wonderful, and, I mean, it would be awesome to get, like, Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Watson and Rupert Grint, but at the same time, I'm like, this is Fred and George! Like, how can you not love Fred and George? Honestly. Even, oh my gosh, I'm excited. Words cannot express my excitement for these 2. So, and now I'm having a really hard time because I have a River Song cosplay that I'm going to do on the Friday, and try to see Alex Kingston. But I'm like, do I want to do my Harry Potter cosplay for James and Oliver? Or I also want to do my Fifth Doctor cosplay just because it's been a while since I've worn it. So I'm like, And I did wear my Harry Potter one earlier this year for something, and I'm like, what do I do? Decisions. I don't like having decisions. But anyway, it's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, way to go, Salt Lake Comic Con. You're getting awesome guests. And I have it on good authority. They're getting at least, or they're trying to get at least one more Doctor Who guest. They haven't said who because they're still trying to confirm it, but they have said on their Facebook page that they're working on getting one.
Do they have any
it'll
hints?
probably be like, no hints. It was just, they haven't really teased it. It was like the guy, I don't know. It's Brian Brandenburg. I can't remember what his position is, but he's like one of the higher ups for Comic-Con, and he and Dan Farr interact on the closed Comic-Con group page, and people, this is where people come and ask questions and talk, connect and do all that stuff. And Brian was saying that there was something going on with Alex Kingston's photo ops, that they were gonna let people upgrade as soon as their other Doctor Who guest was confirmed, but they weren't teasing or saying who it was. They just said it's another Doctor Who guest. So it could be anybody from David Tennant to Arthur Darvill to
Matt Smith.
Well, Matt Smith was there this past January, so it's probably not going to be him. I mean, it could be Peter Davison for all I know, and if that's the case, I'm going Fifth Doctor all the way.
I'm pretty sure I would hear you squee in New Jersey if he was coming.
You probably would. I would. Yes,
Ooh.
you would. They would hear me all the way to Kingdom
Well,
Come.
maybe it'll be like Billy or Karen or Jenna, because those three are coming to Fan Expo, so they're gonna be in.
Or what about
Well, we already had Billy and Karen. Yeah, we already had Billy and Karen at FanX in January, so with Matt. So that's why I'm thinking. I mean, it could happen. I'm not saying it can't.
Well, it could still be Jenna.
Yeah, it could be Jenna.
Yeah. Yeah, Jenna could totally come, and everyone would be like, Chris Evans too?
Yeah, really.
Jenna Coleman!
I love me.
I highly doubt it.
Yeah, I love me some Chris Evans, but Jenna's just so adorable.
Yes, she is. So we will see, and we'll keep you posted. And it's just going to be the next month and a half. It's just going to be insanity over here, and I'm just trying to figure out what am I doing. My sister is like, yeah, whatever. Once Upon a Time people, and I'm like, yes, we'll go see the Once Upon a Time people. I promise. In fact, I actually bought it. There was a group doing a charity drive, and they made this design that was Captain Swan. It was like Emma and Hook's silhouette, and they had like this really cool design to put on the T-shirt. And I was like, huh, this is. They were selling it to support a charity that Colin O'Donoghue supports. So I'm like, hey, if I bought me one of those shirts and my sister one of those shirts, there's her birthday present. And her birthday was last week, and she was like so excited when I gave it to her. She's like, we're gonna wear them to Comic-Con, right? And I'm like, yes, that was the plan.
Your sister.
I'm glad you guys think so. She is a cutie. So anyway, so that's Salt Lake Comic Con. Things are getting exciting around here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And on to a little bit of housekeeping. The poll has closed for the August book of the month, and the August book of the month for the Traveling the World Book Club is The English Way of Death by Garrett Roberts. And it is a Fourth Doctor and Romana book, and I'm about a chapter in, and there is an appearance by K9.
Woo!
Yes.
So is it Romana 1 or
Romana
Romana 2?
It's hard to see from the description, but it might be Lala's Romana the Second.
Okay. Not that I really have a preference, especially if K9's in it, but
Right, yeah.
But still, it's a point of interest.
Mm-hmm.
it helps. It helps when you wanna have the pictures in your head,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, totally.
because that's what I do.
Yeah,
It's called
it makes a
reading.
difference.
Yeah. Well, I know Big Finish also did an audio adaptation of this as well, so I'm waiting to listen to that till I'm done reading the book.
Nah. Let's see. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty then. And we lost Brittany. No, hopefully only temporarily. But the photo challenge for August has begun. So we're one whole day in as we're recording, and the hashtag favorites of Disney. I look forward to seeing what everybody comes up with.
Yes,
I
it is
was-
Romana too.
Okay.
I did check the Big
Okay.
Finish for the the novel adaptation, and it is Lala Ward.
Okay.
Yep.
I have the proper picture in my head.
Oh, there it is. I do have a copy of it on my iPad, and the cover shows Romana too.
Cool.
A very creepy policeman taken over by a green something. Some of these missing adventure covers, I'm not sure about, but it's all good.
Yeah. Yay.
Huzzah!
Book club photo challenge. First day of the photo challenge, I open it up and like, okay, what's the prompt? I look, and I'm like, okay, and then I go to do my posts and I go, wait, I don't know what my favorite is. I stumped myself. I couldn't decide. I was like, pick one. No.
Hello?
There she is. She's
Very
back.
good ones. There you are.
Yeah. So, that is it for new. One minor piece of news, just because if I don't say it now, I'll forget, and hopefully somebody will remind me to remind everyone else at the end of the show as we're wrapping up. But FYI, there will not be a show next week. We will be taking the week off because I will be camping. Insert cheer here. So, I was saying
And
there
we
won't
can't
be
do
a
this
new
without our-
new show next week. We won't be recording one of our archive ones. I will put up, and I'll put it on a release so that it releases next weekend. While I'm gone. So there will be a show in your iTunes feed. It'll just be one that if you've been following since the beginning, you've probably already heard. I don't know which one yet. It kind of depends on. I don't think it'll be our big Once Upon a Time one because that's so big and we have 5 shows to do this month because of the way the month falls. So it'll probably be something else. What I do not know. Usually
It'll be a thing.
it'll be a thing. I'm squeezing them in there when I can. I managed to squeeze in another one before July ended. So, if you checked your iTunes feed, you're like, oh, extra episode.
Yep. I even saw that. I'm like, wait, we didn't record. Oh, yeah, we did.
Yeah.
That was from a year ago.
Yes. Over a year ago. So think of me next weekend when y'all are home and have internet and cell phone and TV and radio. The radio barely gets a signal. It's not that bad. All things considering, it's not that bad. I mean, we're indoors. We have running water. But it's in the woods. It's in the middle of nowhere. But Chauncey likes going, and I acquiesce to going once a year, so things you do for marriage people. It's called compromise. So, anyway, so there's that. Just want to throw that out there because I know I'd forget. Otherwise. And hopefully I'll remember to say it again when we finish. Anyway, speaking of marriage and my husband, we have feedback from my husband.
I was going to say,
yeah.
And who's it from?
Yeah, it's from my husband, Chauncey. So, he heard our show last week and wanted to clarify some of the statements I made on his behalf about X-Men.
This should be fun.
Yeah. I've only skimmed his feedback, so we'll see what although I listened as he was listening to the show and he was commenting along, so I've heard some of this. But
so he was talking to us, talking about him.
Pretty
talking
much.
About X-Men.
Exactly. So, okay. He writes, "Hi, Five-ish fangirls. Love the show. Keep it up. I enjoy tuning in from my warp bubble within the vortex. Last week, Rachel mentioned that I hated Hugh Jackman's portrayal of Wolverine. This is mostly true, but I would like to clarify where I'm coming from. My irritation from this cinematic character really stems from the writing. First off, Hugh Jackman really does look the part of a young Logan, which doesn't make much sense for the time period the films are covering. He is in fact an unknown age of around 120 years old, being born sometime in the 1880s. Before you guys look at me funny, for this being my only qualm about Jackman's Wolverine, I implore you to watch X-Men, X2, and that other one. And pay attention to what you assume from the way Logan acts. Does he seem like a man who has seen the horrors of World War I, who fought for the men beside him only to watch them fall while he lives on with new demons? Does he seem like a man who fought alongside Captain America in World War II, facing Hydra, who is seemingly everywhere, killing his friends and loved ones? The writers of those movies hid behind the fact that somehow Logan's mind had been erased, and they created a shiny new Wolverine that seems corrected at first glance, especially from the perspective of the cartoon version of Wolverine. A Wolverine fan like me looks at Jackman's Wolverine and says, where did his backstory go? Logan's mutation is supposed to bias him towards becoming a real wild animal that carries confusing demons, causing him to flash back to horrors of the wars he fought and the Weapon X program, even after his memory was erased. By the way, it is revealed in the comics that, spoilers, Professor X is the one who wiped Logan's memory because Weapon X sent Wolverine to assassinate Professor X. To be fair, they touched on the wars and flashbacks in the movies and his solo movie, but it was glossed over. I feel like I am jumping up and down, yelling, hey Fox, Wolverine is a way bigger deal to fandom than you think. Please do a better job with this character. Thanks, ladies, for letting me vent. Keep up the good fight, and thank God that the MCU is in Disney's hands. Ha! Chauncey.
I feel like, especially in his last paragraph, by the way, thank you, Chauncey, for writing in. I feel like his last paragraph, I'm sitting here going, yeah, why doesn't Fox do a better job with Wolverine? I mean, they keep rebooting his origin story every time they screw it up. I'm like, they should know better. But they clearly don't. And at the same time, they give other X-Men characters a short shrift in trying to fix all their mistakes with Wolverine. It's just like, what? Ah.
Pretty
I've been
much.
listening to a lot of Marvel-related rants.
Yeah.
Lately.
Yeah.
Starting to rub off on me, even though I know nothing or next to nothing about Marvel comics.
Well, Chauncey does, so
okay.
he's I know he knows what he's talking about. So that is.
I have no doubt that he does.
So he's now.
I'm glad he clarified though.
Yeah. Well, there you go, Chauncey. You got to say your part, I guess. So. And thank you for the feedback. As I kept poking my head around the corner as he was typing, like, are you done yet? Are you done yet? Are you done yet? hit send, we're ready to record. He could have just came in here and, like, said it, but he's on the computer playing a video game with his dad, so he is otherwise occupied.
We would have had live feedback.
Yeah, we would have had live feedback. Maybe some other time. So, alrighty.
He's been
then.
on the show before.
Yep, he has.
Not that we don't love having him, but anyway,
Yeah.
I will let us get on with it.
Yes, so moving
To
on.
quote God from Monty Python, get on with it.
Don't get me started on
I
the
was gonna say,
Funko rant
let's get
again.
us to another tangent.
Don't want to get me started.
That's sort of what I was trying for.
No!
Ah!
I already had my
I
Funko
had-
rant last
I had
week.
sinister ulterior motives.
I don't need the Funko vinyl French taunter from Holy Grail. Yes, I do. Oh my gosh.
Get it from Santa.
Yeah, really. I had one of my I had one of my friends post the article or pictures or whatever about the Holy Grail Funko Pops yesterday, and she's like, "I know a few friends of mine that would love these." So I get on there and comment, and of course I'd already seen it several times, so I knew about it. But still, I got on there and commented, "Must resist. Do not need French taunter." And she's like, yes you do. And I'm like, yeah, no I don't. Just like I don't need a Funko Phil Coulson, a Funko Dancing Groot, a Funko Sherlock, and a Funko Olaf, just to name a few.
But I do need a Funko Captain Swan.
Well, I know you
I
do,
need
but
it.
I don't.
Need, I tell you.
Yeah.
I need it.
And then I made the mistake of going on Funko's website and realizing
which is a rabbit warren
just
unto
how many
itself.
there
If you
were.
go there, you're not coming out
I
for like
know.
ever. You'll come out and be like, what year is it?
Oh, I don't need it.
Yes, you do.
And you should have you looked at the coming soon list?
No, and I don't need to. Don't tell me. I don't need to know.
I was
You're like, I need to spend my money on responsible things like bills and groceries and taxes.
Exactly. So, but
why can't we be
if
kids
anyone
about responsibility and money?
yeah, I know. If anyone at Funko wants to send them to us, you can reach us at
We'll review them.
yes. We'll be more
Yes,
than happy
you
to
are.
give our review.
Review copies of the Funko Pop files.
Yes.
There's such things that right?
Yeah. There are people with YouTube
Yeah,
channels.
we'll sit here and take them out of the box and say, okay, the packaging is good,
Yeah.
and the art design, we'll review totally.
Oh yeah.
Totally.
Absolutely. So.
People review action figures on YouTube all the
Oh
time.
yeah, I've seen YouTube channels where people do unboxings of Funkos, so it's not that. I'm just saying, dear Funko, please email us. I'll give you a mailing address. Multiple mailing addresses.
I'm
You
gonna
don't
say
Yeah.
5 addresses, and I hope you ship to
5
Canada.
addresses. Yes. You
Okay.
better be sending those to all of us.
I'm getting off my Funko soapbox now.
Okay.
Oh, there's a
Sorry,
Funko
that-
Agent May as well. Ugh. Okay, anyway. Moving on. Because it's been a slow news week, and also partially because I'm going camping next week, we decided that we would go back into the magic hat full of names and pull out another 1 or 2 and talk about said people, and I hope everyone's got their IMDb ready, because we may need it. Depending on who we get.
That's why I've got the iPad.
Yep. So, and there's a lot more
Lay it
slips
on
of paper in here than the last time, so it'll be definitely more interesting. So I have it. I don't know if you can hear it, but I got it. I'm shaking it up. I'm shuffling. Yep.
I don't know what I'm doing.
There's smaller slips of paper. I'm picking up more than one. I don't need more than one. I only need one.
Yarn Pringles.
They're stuck together. I don't need more than one.
And the actor we're going to be talking about today is Memory Cheats King.
Yeah.
They have a new series, so now I'm listening to them again.
Who? What?
The Memory Cheats. It's one of the guys from Radio Free Skaro and some other dude, and they talk about randomly selected Doctor Who episodes.
Oh.
And they did the classic series, and now they're doing the RTD years.
Oh, yeah.
And calling it Series 2.
Yep.
Anyway.
Okay. I got one.
They have the rant answer. Okay. What do you got?
Let's say her. And the winner is... Ooh, I like this one. Alan Rickman.
Uh-huh.
Wow! So we can talk about his helium sucking.
Yes. I just watched
the other guy.
That was him.
That was Alan.
Yep.
That was actually on my Facebook again
No,
today.
I couldn't remember what show he was on. I can remember what show he was on.
Was it
It was
Fallon
Jimmy Fallon or
Kimmel?
Kimmel.
Kimmel.
I can't.
Pick a Jimmy.
Okay.
It was on my Facebook today,
Yeah.
which is funny.
Yeah. Yeah. If there's one thing about Alan Rickman, it's his voice. It's very distinct, and I could listen to him talk the phone book.
And you know what the last movie I saw him in, or that I watched with him in, it was actually Sensibility.
Oh yeah.
Which
I
is
have
one of
seen
my
that
favorite
one.
Period British Jane Austen movies. I mean, I love Pride and Prejudice, but Sense and Sensibility, love it. It's in it.
Play a good
And he
guy,
ends up
and
with-
he can play a bad guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
He does bad guys quite well,
And he
though.
ends with
Oh, yes.
Oh, I didn't mean for it to play. I found a video and it started playing, so I'm hearing him now.
You say that like it's a
It will
bad
be
thing.
in the show.
It's not a bad thing, but
Just might screw up
Yeah.
recording, but not very much.
Yeah. No.
So anyway, Alan Rickman. What can we say about Alan Rickman?
I love Alan Rickman.
He
Seriously.
knew Snape's backstory before anybody else other than J.K. Rowling, because she told him what his whole deal was.
So that he could portray it right. He had to know it.
Yeah.
It sounds funny because you hear like stories of like actors are like, I need to know my character's motivation so that I can so I can play this. But in this case, he really did need to know Snape's motivation to play the actor, the character correctly. And you see it too. I've seen the Harry Potter movies. I don't know how many times. But, we got to the end of the series and I read the last book, and I've always thought that Snape was a good guy. I never thought he was actually like a legit bad guy. He was a good guy with a bad attitude, but he was a good guy. He was working for the right side.
I never wanted to admit it because I as a Gryffindor, I'm very prejudiced against Slytherins, and I'm darn proud of it too. But I just never wanted to admit that Snape was such a jerk to Harry and everybody else. He showed so much favoritism toward Draco, and I'm like, I don't want to cheer for Snape. I just don't. But Alan Rickman playing him, I'm like, okay, I can like Snape because of his portrayal.
Mm-hmm.
Book Snape, I want to kick in the head like every time he's there.
Yeah.
Movie Snape, I like him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like to hate him too.
Yeah. If you know Snape's story, if you go and watch the movies, all the way through, at least up to a certain point, actually all the way through, all the way up to really the end, if you watch Snape, whether he's the focus of the scene or not, if he's in the scene, watch him. And you'll see facial expressions and body language that it's telling you what Snape's motive, where he's coming from and what his motivation is. And it's absolutely brilliant And I'm so glad that J.K. Rowling told him Snape's story so that he could play it that way.
In fact, I remember, I can't remember, it must have been the 5th movie when it came out, and there was a report that Alan Rickman did not want to talk about his character with the press. Like, he just would not do it. And the reason, and he said the reason he wouldn't want to do it is because he knew things that would spoil the books if he talked too much about it, and he didn't want to risk it. And at first, oh wow, he's like such a big jerk because he doesn't want to talk to the press. It's like, no, he doesn't want to ruin the book and the character for everybody, because like finding all that out, especially after, spoilers, Snape kills Dumbledore at the end of the 6th book.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my gosh, I was so mad at Snape after that. I hated him. I cursed his name up and down in 7 Ways to Sunday. Oh, I was just so mad. But then I found out why, and I was still mad, but I understood there was a reason for it. But anyway. So there was that.
Yeah.
And there was one of the movies, I can't remember, I want to say it was like movie 1 or 2. It was one of the real early ones. Like you were saying about, you know, if Snape is in a scene, even if he's not the focal point, because there is a scene I am vividly remembering right now that it's like Harry is talking to like a group of teachers that Snape's just there as one of the people thought, like, I think it must have been the 2nd movie, because it was after somebody got petrified, and Harry's talking, and the camera is on just a group of teachers like McGonagall and Snape and Professor Sprout. They're all there, and all the other actors are just listening to Harry, and Snape has this look on his face like, what the heck are you talking about, Potter? And I just always remember that scene. If I had the YouTube clip or something, I don't even know what to search to find it, but it's just, he's just got this really interesting look on his face, and I know exactly what you're talking about when you say that, right?
Yeah, the one that sticks out with me is in the 1st movie, right after the Golden Trio has managed to accidentally knock out the troll in the bathroom, and Hermione is talking about how she, it's her fault, and she went looking for the troll, and Snape just has this look on his face as Hermione's talking, like, girl, I don't believe a word you're saying. You're so full of it.
You're so full of crap.
Yes.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, I think as far as mainstream goes, if you're of a certain age, I think that Alan Rickman's portrayal of Severus Snape is the standout when you think of him and the stuff he's been in.
Yes.
And then I think the other one is obviously Die Hard.
Mm-hmm.
If you're of a certain ilk, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say, before we leave Snape, because there are times when I watch the Harry Potter movies that I am just, there are things about some of them that I'm just like, ugh, for the day that they will reboot this and do it right. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't want anybody else playing Snape.
No.
I just don't, because Alan Rickman made that role his own. And, maybe in like 20, 30 years, they'll, do like a mini-series or something about it, and whoever they cast as Snape in that version, they'll look at, like, oh, the Alan Rickman version was so iconic, and they'll talk it up and all these different things. But it's just like, oh, like who honestly, who else could you have gotten to play that role?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's nobody else that could have done that and done it well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So anyway, go on.
So, but yeah, most people know him either for Harry Potter or as Hans Gruber in Die Hard, just because he does the villain so well, and Hans Gruber is one of those. And Hans Gruber really is one of those iconic, like, action movie villains to begin with. And Chauncey and I just are always quoting Die Hard to each other, and we crack each other up. It's like, give me my detonator. I can't do Alan Rickman's, like, German accent. It's like, give me my detonator. But like, I know that I met, well, like when we did our favorite Christmas movies last December, and both of mine had Alan Rickman. That's what tied them together. But one of them was Die Hard.
The other was funny.
And the other was Love Actually, which again, still one of my absolute favorite Christmas movies ever, and one of my favorite Alan Rickman movies. So.
And was he a villain in that one, or was he kind of, because he can also do sort of the romantic.
He's not necessarily a villain.
Character.
He's just a businessman going through a midlife crisis. Really.
Okay.
So he's not necessarily good. He's not necessarily bad. It's just he's one of the more major plots that threads Love Actually together.
Okay.
So in Love Actually, he's married to Emma. What's her name?
What's her name?
Emma Thompson.
Emma Thompson. So in Love Actually, Snape is married to Professor Trelawney.
Which is funny because
it happens.
Sensibility.
Yeah.
Which is funny because in Sense and Sensibility, Emma Thompson. So you've got Emma Thompson and Kate Winslet are the sisters.
Yeah.
And Emma Thompson's character falls in love with. It's Hugh.
It's Hugh. It's Hugh Grant, isn't it? Is it Hugh Grant? No.
Hugh Grant. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's one of the Hughes. What's his last name? Yeah. I was like, not Hugh Jackman. We were talking about him.
He's Australian.
He's Australian. But anyway, so Emma Thompson's character falls in love with Hugh Grant, and Kate Winslet's character falls in love with Alan Rickman. And Emma Thompson and Kate Winslet are sisters in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just funny to me.
Again,
and I love, like I said, I love Sense and Sensibility.
the British
Alan
acting
Rickman's
pool
in
is
that.
only so big.
Yes. And you know, if I had to have someone pining after me, I would be okay with Alan Rickman pining romantically after me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah. Let's see, what else has he done? I've seen a lot of his stuff.
He was
the
the sheriff of Nottingham in
Prince
Prince
of
of Thieves.
Yeah,
Which is, I think, the first thing I've ever saw him.
yeah.
Me, that I saw him in.
Which he was one of the
And
best
he was-
things about that adaptation
Yes.
of Robin Hood.
And he was in Galaxy Quest as well.
Yes.
In fact, that's the
Yep,
first
yep,
thing I
he
ever
was.
saw him in. He was the Leonard Nimoy-ish character.
Yeah.
And it was so funny.
Yeah.
Yes. He also was the voice of Marvin in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm. Which we have talked about.
Oh wow, he has been in stuff.
Oh yeah, he's the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. What else have I seen that he's been in? I've seen so much of his stuff; it starts to blend together.
All sorts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After
Was
a
he in
while.
it, actually?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wasn't he in
was-
the live action Alice in Wonderland? Wasn't he?
Yes, he's the voice of
Oh,
the
yeah, he was.
caterpillar.
The
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I only seen it once in theater, so I don't really remember. I just remember.
He's the voice of the caterpillar, and he will be reprising that role for the sequel. I'm
Wait,
rolling
there's
my
a
eyes
sequel?
at the fact that they're making another one. Yes. Tim Burton's got to make a living somehow, and apparently this is how he's going to do it. Anyway.
Okay, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Well, apparently he was Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, in the
I didn't see that. The
Butler. He plays
Oh,
Ronald
I
Reagan.
didn't see that one either.
I haven't seen
Huh.
that either.
It would be an interesting
Yeah.
portrayal.
Has a
to see.
really pretty awesome cast. I think.
Yeah.
I like.
Yeah, like Oprah's in it, and he's done a more like independent type movies that are a big part of his resume. If you're a fan of Kevin Smith, of Jay and Silent Bob and other ilk. There's a movie that he did back in 1999 called Dogma, and Alan Rickman portrays an angel, essentially, who is the go-to voice of God, because apparently if God speaks, it will kill anyone who hears it. Therefore, God has to use, like, an interpreter, I guess, so that nobody dies. It's a Kevin Smith movie. It's gross and weird, and it's got Jay and Silent Bob. It's got Ben Affleck and Matt Damon in it, and they play two fallen angels, and they're determined to kill everyone and bring on the apocalypse. And Alanis Morissette ends up being God, because apparently God's a woman.
Okay, that's bizarre.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
That whole, not just the Alanis Morissette thing, just the whole, all of it. Anyway.
Yeah.
I think I
there's
watched it one time. Yeah.
I own it. As sad as that is, and it's only really because Alan Rickman is in it.
You just have everything Alan Rickman's ever been in.
Or at least I've tried to see most of what he's done.
Now I'm curious, because I want to say he was like a Bond villain at one point, but maybe not.
No.
I don't know. Maybe that's somebody else.
I think so, but he would be a good Bond villain.
He would.
I want that to happen now.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, he should play a Bond villain. So in my head, I've made up that he has played a Bond villain.
Yeah, of things in the James Bond movie, and he needs to be on Doctor Who. As something.
Yes. Yes,
yes.
like, I mean, because Michael Gambon was in the Christmas special. You could have him.
Mm-hmm.
The whole.
Okay, let's see. Oh, he was in
Well,
Sweeney
pretty much
Todd.
every other Doctor Who, pretty much every Harry Potter actor.
Yeah, pretty much everybody else in Harry Potter's been on Doctor Who, so what's the hold up here?
Yeah, seriously. He played Rasputin in a TV movie.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't see that. I'm looking on his IMDb page.
Yeah. He did an independent movie. It was on Netflix. I don't know if it still is. But it is based on a true story. It's called Bottle Shock. And it's not, I mean, it's like a Cannes type movie. It's not really full of, there's no action or really anything. But it's based on the story of a wine competition back in the 70s, where it was one of the first times that a American wine had been put up against a French wine in France and actually won. And he plays the guy that helps put together the competition. It's a pretty good movie. He plays a Frenchman, so you don't get the full on Alan Rickman voice, but it's
French cadence would be a lot lighter than his usual deep, lovely bass voice.
Yeah. So, lately he's been doing theater for the last
which is
few
a very
years.
British thing to do.
It is, but he's been doing theater in the U.S. He did a show on Broadway like 2 or 3 years ago, where he plays a guy who is running a writing seminar, and these aspiring writers come in, and they're supposed to help brainstorm and figure out ways to make them better writers. And he's kind of a jerk, but it helps all the people become, helps them face their internal struggles and all that, and help them become better writers. I think he got nominated for a Tony for that. He didn't win, but I think he got nominated.
Interesting.
So he kind of goes the way of, like Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen like to do. They'll come over to New York and do stuff on Broadway.
Sweet.
No, he was not nominated for a Tony for that. I thought he had been. What do I know? I just wished he had, apparently.
But like, I wish you'd play a Bond villain.
Kind of like. A little bit.
And it sounds like I need to hit Broadway again.
Yeah. I mean, as good as an actor he is, he gets nominated for stuff. Although not really a whole lot. He doesn't really win either. He won
That's a travesty.
Yeah, he won a BAFTA for Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. He was nominated for Sense and Sensibility, but didn't win. He won.
I say.
Yeah, he won a Golden Globe for his portrayal of Rasputin, which I haven't seen that yet, but that's supposed to be really, really good.
Okay. Well, yeah, that was on his IMDb page. So.
Yeah. He's won an MTV Movie Award for Harry Potter. For
yeah, that would make sense.
For favorite Harry Potter character portrayal, and won a People's Choice Award for Harry Potter as well.
See, when Harry Potter is up for like things that actual fans who matter, who actually care about these things, when they vote, yeah, Harry Potter wins. The Academy, bunch of pretentious, snotty, blankety blanking.
Yeah.
I've discussed this. I will go no further.
Yeah. So, but of course, he's British, so awards don't mean as much, I think, to them. Or so I've heard from some British comedians.
Well, they're just saying that.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I have no idea.
No.
Oh, hey, Ian McKellen is in that Rasputin movie.
Really?
Sorry. Yeah. And David Warner.
Sort of stink.
I mean, other than what he's done publicly, there's not really a whole lot. He tends to be quite private. He doesn't do social media, or anything like that. Anything you find out there's going to be
strange.
Fan run.
It would be strange to see Alan Rickman on social media. I won't lie. Now that you've mentioned that, I'm just like, yeah, I can't see Alan Rickman being like, I don't know, Ian McKellen or Patrick Stewart on Twitter or anything. It would seem odd to me. Wouldn't fit with his personality.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. He could get a Twitter account tomorrow and start interacting with people and be like, hey, why didn't you do this before?
Yeah. He is. So he's London born. His birthday is close to mine. His birthday is February 21st. Mine's the 18th.
I like that one of his middle names is Sydney. I don't know why, but I like it.
He
Brits
is.
and their middle names.
Tend to have a lot of them.
He is. Like I said, he's quite private. He's been with the same woman since 1965. Rima is her name. She works in politics, and education. And they met in 1965. They've been living together since 1977, and they were finally married in 2012. They don't have any kids. No children.
There's something intriguing about. Maybe intriguing is the wrong word, but there's something kind of. I don't want to say classy either, but that's the only thing I can think of. Kind of classy about somebody, having their public work life, and then they have their private family life. It just, I don't know, maybe it's just in this era of oversharing and everything's like, it's kind of refreshing.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them for that. I think that's cool.
One funny, I'm reading on Wikipedia here, one interesting fact is Apparently in 2008, two researchers, a linguist and a sound engineer, found that the perfect male voice is a combination of Alan Rickman's and Jeremy Irons.
Nice.
I believe it.
So, like I said, I could listen to him read the phone book.
Yes. I wonder if he's ever done any audiobook readings. Now that I think about it.
I don't know.
That would
It wouldn't surprise me if he had.
But audiobook readings, you have to do a bunch of different voices. But, like, maybe even getting him into audio plays. Not
Maybe.
necessarily Big Finish, although that would be awesome. But, you know, BBC Radio, they do highbrow.
Well, he was a member.
Adaptations of certain things.
He was a member
He
of
was
the
what?
Royal Shakespeare Company, so he
Well,
does
there you
know
go.
he does know a thing or two about portraying the written word. I
audiobook
guess.
called The Return of the Native by Thomas Hardy, and he narrates it.
Sold.
One of them. I don't know if he's done others, but that's
I don't know if
the
it's
first
any
one that
good,
popped
but
up
I'll
on
listen
on
to it.
Amazon.
I don't know what else to say about Alan Rickman other than he's fabulous.
He's wonderful, and we love him.
Yeah.
And I need an audiobook narrated by him. I wonder if it'd be anything like Tom Meissen narrating The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, which I do have on audio, and it is marvelous. It's like my favorite thing.
Check like Audible or something, and maybe if you can search by whoever's reading the book, maybe who the voice is of the book.
Yep.
Or something. I don't know. Or Amazon.
That does make a difference.
That's on Amazon, but that I can only find one so far.
Well, do we want to pick another one, or are we good? Do we
How
dare?
long have we been recording? We did a lot of.
We're only about an hour or so in.
Let's do another one. Why the heck not?
Maybe it'll be someone we don't know as much about, so it'll be shorter. So, okay, going back in, shaking it up, freshening the pot.
All right. That was my drum roll. Kind of good one.
Yeah.
And we're digging, we're drawing, we're looking,
drawing. They're not sticking together. They're not sticking together as much this time.
The hat is thinking. The hat is thinking.
Yes,
the
Harry
hat
Potter.
is thinking.
Gryffindor.
Gryffindor. Slytherin.
Someone that was
Yeah.
in
Hufflepuff. Or on the audiobook that Jim Dale did. Hufflepuff.
Oh, I don't like the American one.
Yeah.
It's the only one I've ever listened to.
Yeah.
The British is Stephen Fry, and it's pretty good. I got my hands on.
Well, I got another one.
And it is.
And it is another one I'm actually kind of happy to see. Woohoo! And apparently I'm drawing this one after my comment last week about complaining about Welsh.
Uh-oh.
I know what it is.
I'm so gonna butcher his name, and I'm so sorry because I love you. But I'm not Welsh. I don't speak Welsh, and I even wrote it out phonetically on here, hoping like how he's said to pronounce it. And I'm still gonna butcher it, I'm sure. If you look at his name and you don't know any better, it looks like Eoin Gruffydd, but it's Welsh, and therefore it's pronounced apparently Eoin Griffith, which I can't wrap my head around.
You did very well, Rachel. I'm impressed.
I can't wrap my head around the Welsh. I'm sorry.
Double D is a TH sound. Just
I
remember
know.
that.
Okay.
Double D is TH.
That's just
in Welsh.
yeah.
I don't know how it works. It just does.
You Welsh people in your language, you're weird. That being said,
But in a good way.
yes, but in a good way. In a good way. Absolutely. Even looking at Wikipedia, I don't know. Even with the pronunciation, I can't read that.
jeez.
What is that? I don't even know.
I do know about him that
Yes.
he could. When he became an actor, he was given the option, or someone suggested, you should anglicize your name so people can pronounce it, and he refused because he's very, very loyal to his Welsh roots, and so he kept his name. He kept his name as Welsh, and so it's kind of. I'm like, I can respect the guy for that.
Absolutely.
And I will be honest, the only thing, and I feel terrible about this because I know he's been in a lot of very excellent things, and they've been on my to-watch list forever. The only thing I have seen him in is Fantastic Four, both Fantastic Four movies, and I know those are not the greatest.
I'm on his IMDb, and apparently he was in Titanic.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Because he was the guy on the lifeboat at the end saying, "Is anyone alive out there?" He was at the head of the boat. Okay, so I have seen him in something.
He was
in it for
also
like 2 seconds.
he was also in an episode of Castle.
I don't remember that.
But for those of us that watched it and are still pissed off that it got canceled, we all know him as Dr. Henry Morgan on Forever.
Henry Morgan and Forever.
It's actually kind of funny. I was like talking about how I was reading like our old Facebook conversations. I was actually reading our conversations about watching Forever.
I'm still mad that it got canceled.
It's on my to-watch list. I swear.
So mad.
And he was also in the series Horatio Hornblower, which also has a tie to Doctor Who, because Paul McGann was also in it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Apparently he's in a movie that's also called Forever, but has absolutely nothing to do with
it has nothing to do with it.
at all.
Yeah.
The show.
He was in a movie about King Arthur, and it was on Netflix as of a couple months ago because I actually watched it. I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but it's an interesting take on the King Arthur tale, and Yoan plays Lancelot, but it's the telling of King Arthur, but King Arthur is a Roman officer, and his knights are as young men, they are taken from their homes and forced into service for the Romans, under in the military, and it just so happens that Arthur is like the head of their particular branch of the Roman military, I guess, and they're forced to serve for a certain amount of time, and helping guard Britain as while it's being occupied by the Romans. So it's an interesting take on the whole King Arthur legend. But it's got Clive Owen plays King Arthur, and actually Keira Knightley's in it. She plays Guinevere. Guinevere is actually more like a kick butt. She knows how to fight and all this stuff. So it's an interesting take on the.
I never pronounced the guy's name, but Selvig from Marvel is in it too. I can never pronounce the actor's name.
Oh yeah, that plays Selvig in the. Yeah, I always butcher his name as well, so I'm not even going to try.
Cool. It was also in Glee.
So, not even going to try and... Sorry. People with these names. Anyway. So, So
We love
I've
all foreign actors, but
yeah.
goodness, the names are a little not to
Yeah.
say.
And then there was another movie I watched, and it was on Netflix. Called, what's it called?
What is in 102 Dalmatians?
Oh,
Yeah, it's where he's met his wife.
Hey, that movie was good for something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the it's a movie's called The Adventure, The Curse of the Midas Box,
Ooh, that sounds actually kind of pretty interesting.
which it's based on a novel or a series of novels about this character called Mariah Mundi, and they were hoping that they made it hoping that it would take off and they could do a series. It didn't. So the movie actually ends in a cliffhanger because I think they thought they were going to be able to make more, and they didn't. But he plays the dad of the two boys in that movie. It's a fun. I mean, it's in the lines of I don't know what to compare it to. It's got similar style to, like, I don't know, like Lemony Snicket or the type, but not like same story wise, but like the look, like the cinematography. So it's.
I guess I have seen Amazing Grace.
I have not
That was
seen
the
it.
other thing.
There's
That was a good one.
live action,
He does really good. He's really good in a lot of period drama.
Mm-hmm. And of course,
I wish I'd seen more of his stuff.
And of course, because he's from the UK, he has been in an adaptation of something like. He's been in his case, he's been in an adaptation of a Charles Dickens novel. You know, I'm pretty sure it's a requirement you do Austen or Charles Dickens.
No, he
Or
was in the '96 version of Poldark. I'm watching the current one that's going on right now, and I'm really liking it. But
He was.
I didn't know there was
need to
one in
watch that.
1996.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good. It's
He-
half over, but it's good.
He was in an adaptation of Great Expectations.
There's this animated movie called Agent Crush, and he plays Agent Crush. But also Brian Blessed's in it, so
Nice. Dive down. His IMDb, I think, is a bit shorter than Alan Rickman's, but he's also younger. So,
he's only
There will
been
be more. There will be more to.
with any luck, I'm still
he's only been
crossing my-
acting for about 20 years now.
Yeah.
Looks like.
well,
Little.
and I'm still crossing my fingers that somehow Forever will get a reprise.
Yeah. Come on, Netflix and Hulu or whoever.
Someone, come on, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we were. I think maybe part way through the season of Forever. I was like, I want to see what else this guy's been in, and I was looking and I saw the Fantastic Four movies, and I'm like, he was in Fantastic Four? He was Mr. Fantastic? And then I look, I'm like, yeah, that was him.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate because apparently Mr. Fantastic is a really jerk character in the comics.
Well,
to say the least.
Yeah, well, and he obviously uses
seemed
an
like that in the
yeah.
movies.
He obviously uses an American accent in the Fantastic Four movies. I think that's what threw
yes.
me as well.
Yeah.
So
Oh, by the way, I looked it up. The King Arthur movie is still on Netflix.
there you go.
It's on my list.
Oh, well, there
Yeah.
you
To watch.
I don't have a lot of new.
Yeah, as if your to watch to list wasn't long enough. Let's add some more.
Well, his first acting gig was a Welsh soap opera. Do not ask me how to pronounce it.
Again with the Welsh.
Yeah, I saw that. It's a Welsh thing, and like the W is a vowel or something. Yes, I don't know Welsh. So
I don't either. I don't either. That is okay. That's absolutely okay. He's just one of those actors that, you know, he's been in a decent number of stuff, and you've probably seen him and not realized who he was.
Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah, he's that guy. I know I've seen him in stuff. He looks familiar. I just don't know where from. No. I think he's adorable.
Mm-hmm.
I do too.
And he unlike Alan Rickman, he is active on social media.
Mm-hmm.
He is on Instagram. As we mentioned, he had his wife tweet for him when Forever got canceled, and then when he composed himself, he wrote this lovely "My heart is broken" letter to us Forever fans, and it just made me sad to read it.
Mm-hmm. Our
It's
hearts weren't
sad
breaking
too, and
enough
I
as it
still haven't
was.
watched Forever.
Yeah. Oh, one more thing that I know he was on or in, and I don't. Oh yeah, it is on here. It is Wikipedia. He was recently in San Andreas, which is that earthquake disaster movie with The Rock.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know he was in that, actually.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I'll probably wait till it comes out on Netflix and then watch it just because he's in it.
Yeah, yeah. He's one of those actors that's like he's surprised. Like you're watching something and like, oh, he's in this.
Yeah.
Like you don't expect to see him and there until he's there, and he's like, oh, okay.
Pretty much. So.
I like times, like, it hasn't happened with him, but there's been times, like, I would watch a movie and didn't realize there's an actor in it into, like, the credits, and then I have to, like, rewind and, like, oh, like, try to find him.
Yeah, it's like, oh, wait, that was you.
I kind of feel that way in a backwards sort of way with him and Titanic. So I'm like, oh yeah, that was him.
Yeah, that's actually what I was watching an episode of Forever, and then I listened to a podcast that did Forever, and they were talking about how he was in Titanic. I was like, no, he wasn't. And then I went to go watch Titanic. I was like, oh yes, he was.
Yeah, Rip Tracks has a really funny joke about that, but I won't say it here because it's actually kind of crap.
No.
It refers to his Fantastic Four role. If you go look up Riff Tracks Titanic, or like Best of Riff Tracks Titanic or something like that on YouTube, it's in there, and it's hilarious. It's crude, but it's funny. Which goes to show you what kind of humor I go in for.
I will have to watch that later.
Yeah, watch it later. And like it goes in film order. So it's later because he's like at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
So you have to watch. But I have to watch a Riff Tracks sampler. Oh, woe is me. Whatever shall I do?
What will I do? Awesome. Yeah. I don't know what else to say, other than he's another adorable guy actor from the UK.
Hollywood, cast him in more things and make them good.
Yeah, there you go, Chrissy. I'm wishing for a unicorn again.
He's not quite to the level of, oh my gosh, why can't he be anything good like Taylor Kitsch? But I'd like to see him in more stuff. been successful that you don't cancel,
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
right?
I'm still waiting for Forever to go on Netflix. I don't know what's taking it so long. At least I can get my
I would make a forever joke, but
Yeah, take forever. I know a few. Yeah, the few of the episodes you can get online through ABC, but it's not the entire season, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's like the last
Because they're
five
I missed several
five
episodes, and I need to see them so that I've got the full story. Alrighty. Well, anyone
and there's
have
a talk to be a Torchwood connection.
Yep.
Wait, what? He was in Torchwood?
No, there's a
No.
Torchwood. Yeah,
No,
Bert.
Torchwood.
Torchwood connection in forever.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What?
I would have known that.
No,
Sorry.
Okay.
it's a
Sorry.
Torchwood
I am
connection,
easily confused on something.
which I missed. That's one of the episodes I missed in Forever. The first time that person makes an appearance on Forever, and then I watched one of the later ones where he appears again. I'm like in the chat, like it's blah blah blah. And Brittany was like, "You didn't know that?" I'm like, "No, I missed that episode."
Yeah, kind of the joke. You didn't tell me Bob Newhart was in the library.
Exactly.
Bob Newhart's in the library.
And I thought you to watch it.
I'm so slow. Yeah, if you told me that, I would have watched The
Because you were
Librarian
all like-
sooner.
You were all, I'll think about watching it maybe someday in the next, 20 years.
Yeah,
20 or
if
40
you had told
years.
me Bob Newhart was in it right off the bat, I would have got on that like hot sauce on a taco.
We're talking about, it's a fantasy, and it's funny, and it's cute and campy, and Christian Kane's adorable in it, and all these things, and you're just like, whatever.
Yeah.
And
All
then
you had
Bob
to say
Newhart,
was Bob
"Hey!"
Newhart, and I would have been like, yes.
Well, now we know.
Yeah, now we know. That and Judd Hirsch is also in Forever, and he's just adorable. So,
Yeah.
which Judd is in the hat, so we'll probably get to him eventually. So we'll go back. We'll go back on our rant about Forever being canceled when we pull Judd Hirsch out of that.
It'll be one of those epic Firefly things.
Well, there's another Judd Hirsch TV series too that'll be going off on a rant of that got cut a little bit short too.
Well, yeah.
When we get to it.
Right, let's save that for the Judd Hirsch archive.
Yeah. Sorry, Judd, not this week. As I look into my hat at the pieces of paper. Oh my. Oh. Well, if we don't have anything else to add, I guess we will wrap up here. Again, a reminder, I actually remembered there will not be a new show next weekend, as I will be away, lamenting the fact that I'm not at Kansas City Comic Con.
None of us are technologically savvy to do this without Rachel.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Sorry.
So she's lost in the vortex. The whole podcast is lost in the vortex, which is okay.
I have all the software and all the files to make it happen. So it's
Yeah,
all
it's not just a
mine.
matter of we can't record. It's she's got all the stuff.
Yeah, it's like you guys could easily record, but it'd be raw, and there'd be none of the fun stuff that I add to it. So.
Yes. So.
Anywhoozles.
Any coozles.
Yep.
All right. So, if you want to send us feedback, or just chat with us or connect with us on social media, you can find all of our stuff at our website, the5ishfangirlspodcast.blogspot.com. You can find links for our Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Pinterest, Instagram, and YouTube pages. We're also on iTunes, so hopefully you've been able to find this on iTunes, because that's just been wonderful
Mm-hmm.
to have us there. Leave us a review if you feel like you have something to say to us about that, because that would be awesome. And support us on Patreon if you can. We appreciate all of our Patreon supporters because without you, this doesn't happen. And we would just be sitting here talking to the wall. Well, we'd be talking to ourselves, but then the walls would be listening. And no, not very many.
We'd be talking to each other. It just would be recorded and then put up on the internet.
And we wouldn't be sharing cool stuff on our Facebook page and have all you people liking it and commenting on it, which we do see those, and that is really cool because I love that we're finding things that people want to read about and see and interact with. So that makes me happy. So
like Jedi Betty White.
Jedi Betty White with her deceased Jedi Golden Girls in the background. That was awesome.
Apparently I was behind on that. But it's so funny.
I know, we said, well, nobody else had posted it, so it was good. I was like, I'd seen that like weeks ago. Well, not weeks ago, but I'd seen it like 3 or 4 times this week. Of course, I'm on Facebook all day with my job, just because that's how things have to go. But anyway, yeah. So find us on the interwebs, please, and interact with us because we love talking to our listeners and our people that are our friends we just haven't met yet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just like Lou.
Thank you, Lou. Yes, I am listening to Lou Mongello, and he's just awesome and wonderful, and I wish I could go to Disney World all the time. But I can't. I don't live in Florida.
And that will be
but
our...
yeah.
So that will...
He brings Disney to me, so that works.
I'm pretty sure that'll be our topic for when we come back in 2 weeks because D23 Expo will have happened and it's going to be like fandom Christmas, but Disney specific.
Yes.
I expect big announcements to be coming from Disney.
From
D23.
and more Marvel, Agent Carter, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, yes.
Dub, whatever that is. Dub Smash. That's just awesome.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the video of all of them put together, except for like the most recent one when that video went up with the behind the scenes stuff, it makes it so much funnier.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! And then you don't have to wait. You don't have to wait for Instagram to buffer.
Yeah. There's some dubs in there that I hadn't seen before, so that made it even better. But some of the behind the scenes stuff is...
Oh, the behind the scenes.
I can't stand.
I mean, they got 2 angles on that one Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. one.
Yeah, when they're on the bus.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. I love it. And then watching their reactions, there's the one where they've got Chloe watching. I think it's Chloe. I think they're having Chloe watch one of Haley's, and she's just losing it. She's like, "Oh my god, this is the best thing ever!"
So awesome. So that's what's coming up for us on our schedule.
Yep.
In as much as we have one.
Yes.
Mostly we're just going by we're just playing this by ear.
Yeah. I'm back.
This is summer hiatus.
Yep.
Which is kind of of course.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's all. Those are all our plugs.
Yep.
And we reminded everyone that we're not going to be here next week, so just look for a throwback episode.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all good.
It's all good. So.
And when we come back, we'll have piles of news to get through, probably, or we'll have 3 pieces. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, and you guys are going to be in charge of keeping up on the news as well, because again, I'm not going to have any internet. So.
That's okay. We got it covered. We're good at this. It's been a year.
Oh, I know. I know. I'm just saying. Okay, let's sign off.
Anyway, let's sign off.
Yep.
Yeah.
Signing off.
Yeah.
Ready?
She's been fading in and out. Did we lose her again? We may have lost her again.
Okay.
Brittany?
Brittany says goodbye for Belvedere.
Do I have to do my
Yes.
Brittany?
Oh no.
This is Brittany Belvedere!
This is Chrissy saying goodnight from Salt Lake City.
This is Holly from Wisconsin saying good evening.
This is Mitch saying goodnight from Kitchener, Ontario.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. I don't want to go camping. But I get Tim Hortons on the way, so it's slightly
Tim
balanced.
Hortons balances out
It
camping.
balances out.
You stockpile for the weekend.
Exactly.
Instead. Although, if you have running water, I don't think it really counts as camping.
It does. There's woods. There's woods and there's bugs.
I had this discussion yesterday when I was at the canyon, and we were like, we still had cell phone reception for heaven's sake. Really weren't.
Oh, there's Brittany. Brittany, say goodbye real quick. Maybe.
Oh, this is hurt. Brittany, dang it.
No.
Brittany, hello.
Brittany, say goodbye real quick.
Say goodbye. Bye.
You have been listening to the Five-ish Fangirls Podcast. Any and all movies, books, games, and other forms of media mentioned are owned and operated by the respective copyright holders. No copyright infringement is intended or implied.